Ohio Issue 1, a primer. Are you confused about Issue 1 and why it is so important? Then join me for this short primer. There's not a moment to lose. Voting ends August 8th. The good news is that it's not that complicated. This primer will cover the following. What is Issue 1 about? Hint, citizen initiatives. Why are citizen initiatives and do they work? Who is behind the yes vote? Who is behind the no vote? And what are the consequences of a yes vote and of a no vote? So let's get into it. What is Issue 1? Issue 1 is a bill that, if passed, will sharply increase the already rigorous requirements needed for citizens to get constitutional initiatives on the ballot and to pass. So what are these citizen initiatives? In a word, democracy. In two words, direct democracy. Citizen initiatives provide a path for Ohioans to get attention for issues that concern us when our representatives fail to represent us and our issues. They are also an Ohio tradition dating back to 1912. Why 1912? Well, let's look a little at Ohio's history for that answer. During the Gilded Age, politics in Ohio followed a familiar formula. Big money led to powerful legislators proposing bills that favored the interests of the wealthy, often over the interest of the people. Because these legislators were not looking out for the people, Ohioans fought for the constitutional right to propose their own bills and to gain passage for them on the ballot. In 1912, Ohioans won. Yes, we got citizen initiative rights. Once our issues were on the ballot, the people could decide yay or nay, with the voting majority of 50% plus one deciding the outcome. Now that's democracy, a government of, by, and for the people. Now for 111 years, this process, onerous but fair, has worked. For example, Ohioans seeking fair districts have launched 2 citizen initiatives against gerrymandering. As a reminder, gerrymandering is when state leaders manipulate maps so that they may choose their voters rather than voters choosing their representatives. Not surprisingly, both of these citizen initiatives won overwhelming victories from across political lines. Yes, Ohioans are brilliant. We know we don't want gerrymandering. Tragically, this odious concept still blights Ohio's elections and laws. Legislators who were determined to maintain gerrymandering skirted the rules that the people had passed. Therefore, Ohioans continue voting using unconstitutional district maps. Apparently, highly gerrymandered political bodies prefer not to deal with their constituents' issues, which explains why the Ohio Assembly is pushing Issue 1. By piling on new standards that are nearly impossible to meet, powerful politicians may legally block bills that the majority of their constituents support. What are these new standards? Issue 1 doubles the number of counties from 44 to 88 that must meet strict signature requirements. This means all counties. The result? Even just one holdout county would squash any citizen constitutional initiative from earning a place on the ballot. 2. Issue 1 requires 60% rather than the conventional 50% of the vote for an issue to pass. Result? Minority over majority rule. And 3, Issue 1 eliminates entirely the cure period. Currently, both sides have 10 days to check and resolve any issues regarding concerns that come up after every election. All 3 of these requirements are unnecessary, undemocratic, and unfair. Ohio's current citizen initiative process has worked well for 111 years. It does not need these changes. So, who is behind the yes vote? Legislators who are determined to limit the power of the people. A billionaire from Illinois, Richard Uihlein, who is spending, by some accounts, upward of $1 million to see Issue 1 pass. So much for the proponents' side of the argument that the changes will ward off out-of-state influence. Perhaps you have seen mention of Richard Uihlein's Save Our Constitution super PAC. The irony stings given the PAC's intentions to gut, not save, our constitutional initiative rights. Some restaurant owners, leery of popular citizen initiatives seeking to increase the minimum wage, are also proponents of Issue 1. Knowing how unpopular Issue 1 is, the Pro Side campaign has been pulling out all the stops to quickly place Issue 1 on the ballot and then ensure that it passes. Last year, the Ohio Assembly ruled against special elections in August, citing high cost and low voter turnout. In the case of Issue 1, however, it reversed this decision and called for an August 8 special election. What about those high costs? We are talking $20 million or so, and concerns of low voter turnout. Could it be that Issue 1 proponents are betting that students and vacationing families will be away for the summer election, and that the narrow window gives Ohioans little time to learn about the amendment changes? Many people urging a yes vote believe that Issue 1 centers on abortion. In fact, both sides make this claim. Indeed, the outcome will affect abortion rights as addressed in citizen initiatives, but it will also affect every other issue important to Ohioans. The purpose of Issue 1 is to stymie all citizen constitutional initiatives. Who is behind the no vote? Ohioans who believe in democracy, Ohioans who know that it is the duty of citizens to hold accountable representatives who do not represent the people, and Ohioans who are honest about Issue 1, not disseminating misleading claims about it. For instance, the ballot language approved by the yes side describes Issue 1 as elevating the standards to qualify and pass a constitutional amendment. Issue 1 does not elevate the standards, but hijacks them. A no vote on Issue 1 will maintain the integrity of this vital 111-year-old tool in Ohio's arsenal of democracy. Think of the issues that concern you, yet are not taken up by our elected officials. For instance, our environment, the safety of our food, the health of our livestock, guns, healthcare. What other concerns do you have? Credit card debt, gas prices, surging utility costs. When our highly gerrymandered state house ignores our concerns or makes them worse, we, the people of Ohio, need a reasonable citizen initiative right process to take these concerns to the people. Think about our public education system, once among the best in the country. What about the high cost of college or the lack of public transportation? What about our infrastructure, including internet, especially for rural areas? And despite this infernal heat, how is it that our state prioritizes the fossil fuel industry over solar and wind? These are the issues our representatives ought to be taking up instead of pushing bills to derail direct democracy in Ohio. When ignored by our representatives who fail to represent us, Ohioans, at the moment at least, have the option to propose our own bills. If we ignore this moment, however, we could easily lose our citizen initiative rights. Vote no on Issue 1.